Hey everybody, this is Jimmy Blevins, and today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to build a website using the Mozaic platform. This is the website we built for one of our clients, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to walk you through how I built this starting from scratch so you can see just how quick and just how easy this can be. This is just a simple one-page website. We broke out all the information so everything's displayed on your home page. Works for mobile, works for tablets, great. And it's essentially, you click on any of these buttons and it just takes you to a different part of the page. You know, you got information about their company. It's also got a form for people to apply now for employment with them, and then it's got some contact information at the bottom. And this is really all they needed. Just a really simple, straightforward, but still elegant and professional looking single page website. So let's dive in and get started. The first thing we're going to do is come into our dashboard and jump right into our theme options. So we'll go to Divi and then theme options, and we're just going to set up our general options right now. So we've got put our logo and our favicon in the website, and just something that's going to save time down the road, I'm going to go ahead and upload all of the image files I've got for this web page. Okay, so it looks like everything got loaded up, even loaded up the color palette. Don't need that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And then we're grabbing our logo. So we got the logo right there. Set that up as our logo. Get the favicon in here. All right, next I want to set up my default color palette. And this is going to save me time putting the website together because I'm going to define these colors and they'll be wherever I need them, and I can just grab them straight from the palette. So if you saw from the client, what I got was this, which kind of laid out a couple different colors. You got your white, black, and then I've got 3 colors for the palette. So that's fine. I'd like a couple more. So I've been using this website, this coolers.co, and this allows me to create and save color palettes for websites. So what I did was I plugged in, you know, the blue, the green, and this yellow, orange-yellow color. And then I wanted to grab like a darker blue and maybe a maroon color. So what you can do on this is you can lock in the colors that you want to keep. And then you just hit the space bar and it gives you kind of a random color that fits that color scheme that you can use. So great tool, feel free to play around with it. But I use it because it's a really quick and easy way to get a color palette together. So I'm going to go ahead and add these in. So now all my colors are loaded into my palette. And the last thing I want to do while I'm on this page is I'm going to put in a Facebook profile URL, which I have a text document here with all my information from my client. So it's there for me. And then that's it. I'm going to go ahead and save these changes. So that's all I've got to do to take care of the theme options for this website. Now the next thing I want to do is come in here to the theme customizer. And this is going to allow me to really dial in some of the settings that I want on this web page. All right, so the first thing we want to do, start with our header navigation. I think I knocked the logo max height down about 40, 82. Okay, so my text color, I picked this green for my links in my header. Active link, I'm going to keep the same. My background color, I'm going to select black, but I'm going to make it about 50%. I've got my drop down menu line, which I'll go with the green again. Drop-down menu is fine. Animation is a fade. Okay, so that's all I need to set up for that. I'm going to save that really quick. So the next thing I'm going to do is go into my header format, and really all I want to do here is hide navigation until scroll. And what this will do is when somebody comes to the home page, there'll be no navigation bar here until they scroll down. And that's about all I need to do for that. I'm going to come in here to the footer. And I've got a little bit of code here for the footer that I've already got from the other website. And it's just some simple HTML with a couple links, nothing too fancy, just really simple and easy. And what this does is change the text down here. So it says powered by Energy Freedom Project, designed by Mozaic Technology, and that way it doesn't say WordPress or Elegant Themes there at the bottom. So let's save that, and that's everything that I need to do. All right, so now that that's finished, I'm going to close out of here, and then we're going to go into our Divi library and we're going to import the layout for this home page. So I'm coming down here to my Divi library. I'm going to import a new layout. And I've got this JSON file here, homepage number 1, and this was put together by Elegant Themes. Some layouts that they had specifically for Divi, and I'll add a link to that in the comments below so that you guys will be able to get to that and grab these layouts. Okay, so it looks like everything imported all right. We've got that in there, so now let's actually go start building our pages. So let's click here on all pages. And of course they always kick us in with the sample page. We'll just throw that in the trash really quick. Click here on add a new page. I'm just going to call this page home, and then we're going to click here on use Divi Builder, and then right here we want to click on load from library. So there's our home page 1 that we've got. We want to load that up, and there it is. It imported all the images, and it actually put in some graphics there too, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this so it's saved. Okay, so now let's jump right into the Visual Builder, and then let's go ahead and set this page up. Okay, so you can see everything that's loaded in. The Visual Builder shows us the page. Great template. The first thing that I'm going to do though is this top section. I'm going to change that out because it's a full width slider, and I don't need a slider because I've only got one screen. So I'm just going to go with a regular section instead of a full width section. Just a single row. And then let's come in and change this. So the first thing we're going to do, and I like to have this snapped over to the left so I can see what I'm doing here with the Visual Builder settings, and then I can see my changes right here. So first thing we're going to do is change our background image. And that's all we need to do there. And then we're going to come in here. I guess for some reason I chose 2 columns. I just want 1. We're going to add in our graphics. So first, let's put our logo in there. So we want to grab our image module. Here's our logo. I put a little bit of a shadow on it just so it'll stand out from the background a little, just a little bit. It was getting lost. I want to do a top to bottom animation with it, and I actually want it centered. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another row right below it to put my buttons. I'll come back and show you where this URL is going to go. But for right now, we've got About Us. I want to center it. And then I want to come in here into the design settings, and we're going to use some custom styles for this button. What worked out, I think, was 17 for the button size. Text color, we're going to go with the white. Background color, we've got this blue already set up in our palette. I don't want a border, so I'm just going to set the width to 0. And the radius I had at 7 pixels. I don't need a special icon for this. For the background hover color, I was using this dark blue. Looking good, looking good. And last thing I need to do is a little bit of the style sheets, and I've got that over here in this text sheet. So I like my buttons to be a little wider, and I also changed the padding on them to make them a little bit bigger. You see, I wanted them to be taller, so I put this padding of 1 EM on the top and then 0 on the right and left hand side. And then I changed the width to 100%. So the button's going to stretch out in this column as much as it can. One last little thing I forgot in the design settings. I'm going to change that font to bold. And then that's all I need for this button right now. So I'm going to go ahead, call that good. And then really easily, I'm just going to duplicate the button and drag it over to the next column. Another time-saving thing. So now I don't have to go in and completely recreate it. It's already there. It's already styled for me. And this one is apply now. And this button is actually going to go somewhere else. I'm going to send this off to another website. This is their link to their commercial energy division. And I want to open this in a new tab. I'm going to change the icon as well to this arrow, just to let people know that they're being taken off site when they click on that. And then I'm going to duplicate this button again, drag it over. This is going to be our contact. All right, one last little setting. Actually, first, let's get rid of this because we can get rid of this. So it's no longer the top of our homepage. This is the top of our homepage, and I want it to fill the whole screen. So I've got one last little thing I want to change. And that here on the main element, I want to change the height to 100 VH. So changing that to 100 VH actually sets the height to the vertical height of the browser window. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I want to add a little more padding to the tops of these. So I'm going to come back into here to my row settings, and the top padding, I think I set it at 5 EM. Maybe a little bit more. Let's bump it up to 7. There we go. Just spreads it out a little bit. So now when somebody comes to the home page, here's the first thing that they see. So moving on down to the next section. Now this section, I didn't really keep anything in it. Didn't really work for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and blow all this out right now. In fact, I'm just gonna get rid of these rows. Make my life easier. Okay, so let's jump back in here to the settings. The only thing I changed on here was I had a black background. And added in a 2-column section. In this first column, I had an image. This is our introduction to Crenshaw Energy Consultants. And then I had some text on the other side, which was this text right here. Go ahead and add in a text module. And then we'll paste our text into the text field. Change the color to light so it shows up. And then on all of these, I want to make them carriage returns. all of these I made a heading. It was a heading 2. Actually, let's go with heading 1 because this will make my life super easy. So when I come into design, I change the header settings, right? I want to bump this down because I don't need it to be that big. 24 should be good. And I also want to make it bold. Oh, that's the text color. Heading font, bold. I'll make it just a hair smaller. And then I do want to put some custom padding on the top because I'd like it to line up with the logo a little bit better. So let's try 5 spaces. I might have gone with 10. Yep, that looks good. Well, that section's done, but one last thing I want to change about this section though is this is going to be our about. So here in the CSS, in the CSS ID, I want to type about and save that, and then scroll back up here to my button. So I'm coming back to this button URL, and if I type about in the button URL, what that's going to do is signal that when I click on this button, it jumps to that ID, or it jumps to that setting or section. So this next section is where we had the little beach image behind, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that on there first. Guy's just totally relaxing in his freedom. And I believe I'll just leave the custom padding where it is. Okay, so next thing we need to do, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to change the settings on here because I put in a little bit of a white background just so the text was a little bit easier to read. I dropped it down to about 40%. So you can still see the image through it and the text would show up. So coming in here to the text module, I've got some text for this. This will be a heading 1. I believe this was about a heading 2, I think. Okay. So now coming into the design settings, set that back to default. And then the header font size, I'll make this a lot bigger. I think 62 was actually what I ended up going with. If I remember, I don't think this is actually, let me take this off of being a heading. Again, make this easy for yourself. So I come in the design settings, right? And look, I've got the 62-point font for my default. I'm going to set this to the red color and dial it down quite a bit. So it's more of just a subheading. Yeah, 25 pixels is perfect. Okay. And I move into this next section here. And put in some text. And this is the text I had for this section. Text color I'm going to clear out. Actually, I want it to be a little bit darker. Make the text a little bit smaller. About there is perfect. I'm going to divide up these paragraphs a little bit better. And then it looks like the template gets rid of the padding here at the bottom. I don't think that that's in this particular Yeah, because we've got a top, but we don't have a bottom. I think that that might actually be in our row settings. There we go. Let's make that the same on the top and the bottom. All right, and one last thing we're going to throw in here is a button. Big red shiny button. Go ahead and turn on custom styles for the button. Button background color, I picked this red. Again, just a thing of mine, I really don't like borders on my buttons. So I get rid of that right off the bat. Do want just a little more of a radius. I'd like it a little bit bigger. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop over here to kind of take a look at what I've got set up compared to what I've done before. So we're just recreating this website. Looks good, looks good. Looks like I had quite a bit more room above and below this. And it looks like I got rid of the margin altogether. So let's do that. So coming in here, in our general section, on our section, we got to get rid of our padding. And then our row will sometimes have a default margin. So we need to get rid of that as well. Let's also bump up this. It's about 120 pixels. Looks about where we were at before. And that's just going to give us a little bit more space. It is totally okay in a website design to have negative space. And with the Divi Visual Builder, you're never going to be able to completely get rid of this while you're in the Visual Builder settings. But you'll see once we save it and view it on our live testing site, it'll look more like this where it lines up with the edges. But for right now, this is good enough, close enough for us. So going on down to the next section, this is where we had the Energy Freedom Project information. So again, not too much different than what we've already got going. I just changed the background color to that darker blue. And then over here, we're going to get rid of this text and add in an image. And then we're going to swap out this text over here. Looks like we got a couple blocks, so I'm going to get rid of one. I've only got one to mess with. And this is this text right here. And if you're noticing, a little bit of setup really goes a long way. Just need to find D make money. Yes. A/B this. Looks like we had a sans serif. Looks like the font was a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna do it. And then I added another row underneath and moved these sliders into it. I just thought they looked better going all the way across. It looks like I've got like a serious margin or a padding going on here, so I want to change that. Yeah, this 132 pixels on the bottom. I'll change that to like 40. Actually, I think I'm just going to get rid of that altogether. There we go. All right, so then these, you can see over here what I did with them. Passion, ambition, and pure adventure. Okay, and then the next one, I think I called that ambition. That was 90%. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is just clean up some settings. Seems like whenever I work on these bar counters, the settings get blown out a little bit. So I just want to bump this up just a hair to 16. And that looks good. It's not identical to what I have over here, but I mean, I can jump in the settings and look, but actually I kind of like them a little bit bigger and the bar is going all the way across. So that section is done. The next section that we've got on this form is we've got a little application here, and I got this application from the Energy Freedom Project website. Why reinvent the wheel if it's already been done? So, and this is actually part of a multi-site silo. So the easiest way to do this is I'm going to bop out of the Visual Builder really quick, because I've got the form exported in a JSON file, and then I just need to pull that in. Okay, so we're going to go to Forms, Import, Export. This is how we're going to pull the form right here into Gravity Forms to use on the website. So I click here on Import Forms, and then that's going to give me the ability to choose a file. And I've got it right here, this Gravity Forms Export JSON file. Go ahead and import that in, just takes a couple seconds. It's only a 6K file. And then when I click here on Forms, you can see the join now is in there. And I'm not going to get into the settings. I'm going to do another tutorial on how to build Gravity Forms. But for now, for these websites, that's how you import it. So I've got a Gravity form all set up and ready to go. So what I want to do now is jump back into my pages and get back into the editor for the home page. Okay, so now let's get down here to our section where we're going to be adding this form. And I'm just going to go ahead and edit this section. I'm going to grab this text straight from this web page and just paste it in here. I'm going to make the header font just a little bit bigger, about 36 pixels, and I'm going to make it bold. Text color dark. This looks like I've got a header text color that's set. Nope, that's for the header. Text color. I'm going to switch that back to the default setting. Close that out. Get rid of this client's header. Get rid of this row down here. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add another text section. And you'll notice here in the Visual Builder, and I think this is a bug, so I wanted to show you guys this, the forms, the ability to add a Gravity form isn't here. So what we're going to have to do, so I'm going to close out of this really quick. You're going to have to save this, and then we're going to have to jump back into the backend builder to add the form in. So I'm going to click here on Edit Page. I'm going to scroll down here. I believe this is where our text is. Perfect, and you can see here the Gravity Forms button is there. So we've just got to grab the form. And all I did there was just disable it. It has like a description and a title, but I've already put that on the page. So I'm going to update that, and then we can jump back into the Visual Builder once that reloads. So you can see our form filled in there perfectly. The last thing I want to do is just get rid of this background image. So we've just got a white background on this section. So then the form shows up pretty well. And this is actually, again, we're going to come in here to the CSS, and then the ID we're going to put join and save that. So now that that's set up, I can come back here to my ready to start button, and you can set this up beforehand. I just wanted to show you guys after the fact so that you can make the connection. So if I type this pound or number sign join, then that's going to make the link jump to that section. And then I want to come up here to the apply now button and go ahead and make that change really quick. And those are all set up. And we'll go ahead and save the page. This is always a good idea. Save often, save early. And then we've got a couple more sections and then we're done. So we're gonna pop in a full width map. And you can see here we still need a Google API key. So really quick, easiest way to do that is a Google Map API key, and that'll jump you right into where you need to be. Now, if you're setting this up for a client, you may want to actually use their Google account to do so. Since I'm just doing this as a testing website, I'm going to leave this under my account. So here we go, get a key. It's pretty simple. Grabs you a key right there, finish it, and then that's going to set up your website. So 2 clicks in, we get our API key. We cannot put the API key in here though. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we just saved, right? So we'll go ahead and drop out of the Visual Builder. Go ahead and save and exit. Get in here into the dashboard, and then we want to come to the Divi theme options, and this is where we'll actually put our API key. Google API key, save your changes, and then we'll jump back into the page in the Visual Builder and we'll finish it up. So we're back here in our full width map section. So let's pop back in here into the settings. You can see our API key is there. All right, so let's go ahead and add our item in. And our address we've got right here in our text document. And you just paste that in there and you click on find. And then the Google API will find it for you. And as you can see, we actually do still need to center the map. So we just put the same address in there. Click on find, and then it's going to show up. And then it'll show here, you know, what our visitor is going to see. And I like to zoom out just a little bit so people can kind of see the general area of where it is. And I'm going to disable the zoom and the draggable. I do want to put a title on this. And that'll set everything up for the map. We've got one last section left to go. It's a regular section with one column. And we're just going to put in, actually this is going to be 2 columns. And in our settings, you can see we used that dark blue again. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And we're going to add that logo image back in on the side. And then our contact information text we'll put on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and add in a text module. And then we'll copy and paste the contact information from the document we set up. We'll just space it out a little bit better. Text color, we want to switch to light. This is actually going to be H1 or an H2 tag, and then I'm just going to bold these so they stand out a little bit. And I think I might have actually had the font. Yeah, the font size is quite a bit bigger. So we'll come into our design settings, make the header font a little bit bigger, and our text will make bigger too. I just remembered I selected an H2 tag for this, so I'm going to jump back into the general settings and switch this to an H1 tag again, because then we can edit. Yeah, there we go. Then we can edit all the settings we want. One last thing I do want to do is you can see that I've got a little bit more padding over this so it lines up with the logo, kind of like we did up at the top of the other one. So I'm just going to put custom padding of about, I guess we'll go with around 7 maybe. Perfect, perfect. And on this one, there's a little bit more space above and below, which I think I'm going to leave. You can see I made it a little bit shorter on the other side, but I kind of like the extra space. And the last thing, or one of the last things we're going to do, is I'll jump back in here. And this actually wants to be our contact link point. So we're going to type contact into the ID field. And then we're going to scroll back up here to the top, because remember we've got this button here, contact us. So we just need to link that up to contact. And now our button is going to jump right to the contact section when somebody types it on there. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. That pretty much takes care of everything we need to do to get the landing page set up. There's one last final step we need to do, and that is set up the menus, and then we're actually going to redirect it and tell the website where our home page is. But you can see this page it's done, it's set up, it looks great. So we're going to pop back into the dashboard and go ahead and tweak a couple more of those settings. So let's drop down here to appearance and menus, and we're going to build the main menu for our site. I usually like to call them like main nav or main navigation, something along those lines. Okay, so these are all going to be custom links that we're going to add in. So our first one is our about. So we just do the hashtag about us to be the text. All right, and the second one we want is going to be our apply now button, which we had tagged as join. And our third button is going to go to that other website. So we do efpnow.energy. Commercial energy is the text. Add that to the menu. And then we're going to add our contact link. And there's one thing that I like to add to sites, especially if they're going to be viewed on a mobile phone a lot, is I like to put a link to the telephone number in. And that's really easy. Just need to grab, I'm going to copy the telephone number really quick. Jump back in here. So how to do a telephone number is to do the URL is TEL and then a colon, and then the telephone number, and you want to get rid of any special characters, so it's just the 10 digits. And what this will do is if somebody's on a mobile device and they click this link, it's actually going to kick them right over to their phone and pop this phone number right in there, so they can just click on the call button and they'll be able to get in contact with you. It's a great thing to add to your responsive sites, especially if they're going to have a lot of mobile traffic, because most people, when they go to a website on a mobile device, the first thing that they're going to want to look at is to get in touch with you, get a phone number. So to finalize this, we're just going to click here, our display location. This will be our primary menu, and then we'll save that. And what that's going to do is replace that top navigation on the website with these links here. And one last thing that we need to do is come in here to settings and reading, and we need to tell WordPress what our homepage is, because by default WordPress is set up to display your latest posts, kind of like put your blog on your homepage. And we want to change that to a static page, so we just click here on a static page, we select our homepage, save the changes, and I think that pretty much covers it. Let's click here, let's visit the site in a new tab really quick. It's going to drop us right into our home page. And there's our website. There's our About Us information. Just want to make sure that our buttons are working. Yep, that one jumps right to the form. We've got our contact information and our map. And everything is set up and ready to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something. That's how easy and simple it can be to set up a website on the Mozaic platform. Once again, my name is Jimmy Blevins, and thank you so much for watching.